Hello, it's Jim Games here once again and welcome to this new Unreal Engine 5 tutorial. In this video I'm going to show you how to create this Resident Evil style fixed camera system, as you can see here on the screen. So yeah, let's get started. So I have created this empty third person project. So what I want to do first is I want to go to the blueprints folder and I want to open the BB third person character. And here I want to delete the camera boom and also the follow camera. And also here on the event graph we have the camera input. Let's delete all that. Okay, compile, save, and we can close this. Now let's create a new folder here and let's call it cameras. Okay, let's open it and let's create a new blueprint class type actor and let's call it camera trigger. And let's open it. Here, what we want to do on this camera trigger is we want to first add a trigger box collision. And let's call this trigger box. And I would like to set this size to be a little bit bigger as default. So box extend 50, 50, and 50. Also the scale, let's lock it and let's set it to 5. Okay, now we want to set this set location to 250 if you set this scale to 5. So yeah, as you can see, it's over the pivot or like at the same height as the pivot. Now let's select our default scene root and let's add a camera like this. Now what we want to do is we want to go to our construction script. And what we want to do here is we want to get our default scene root and we want to get world scale like this. Then what we want to do is we want to get our camera component reference get and we want to set scale, set world scale 3D. Now let's connect it to here. And now we want to get from the default scene roots world scale and we want to divide and we want to actually divide it by with itself like this. I will show you soon why. Now let's connect this to the new scale, because now if we change our these actors size or scale, otherwise the camera would scale also, but now it will divide this scale, so the camera's scale will always be 1. Simple as that. Okay, compile, save. And actually, let's go back to the viewport. Let's move this camera to a better position. 500 units on the Z, minus 250 on the X, and let's rotate it like 20 degrees. Minus 20 on the Y, so it's there as default. Compile, save. Now let's go to the event graph. Let's delete everything else than the event begin play. And what we want to do here is we actually want to create a new function. Let's call this get camera world rotation. Okay. And here we want to get our camera component and get world rotation, and we want to just promote it to a variable. Okay, let's call this camera rotation. Simple as that. Let's select this and press Q to align. Okay, compile, save. We can close this function. Now on the event begin play, we want to call this function. like this. After that, we want to create another function, which will be called spawn camera actor. And here on the spawn camera actor, what we want to do is we want to get our camera component, and we want to get world transform. Then we want to right click from here and spawn actor from class. Connect it to here. Now the class will be camera actor. And let's connect this world transform to the spawn transform like that. And you might be wondering, why do we spawn another camera if we already have one here? This is camera component, not camera actor. So I actually didn't get it to work with this camera system. So this is better. So now we have this here, but when the game starts, it will spawn an actual camera component. And after that, what we want to do, we want to promote this to a variable, and we want to call this camera actor. And after that, we want to get our camera component, and we want to destroy component. So we will destroy this, but we will have this camera component here just so when we set this camera, so we can see through it. Okay, compile, save, and let's go back to the event graph, and we can actually close the spawn camera actor. Now let's call this function after this. Actually, let's select these and press Q to align. Okay. So one more thing we have to do here, or one more function we have to create. So let's create the function, and this we will call check if starting camera. Okay, here on this function, we want to create a new variable called starting camera, and we want to set it instance editable like this. Now we want to compile, save, and get our starting camera. We want to add a branch, so being left click, and we want to check if this camera is a starting camera. Okay, now let's create one more function. This function will be called set camera active. Okay, and now let's go back to the check if starting camera, and if this is true, let's call this set camera active. Compile to save again, and let's call this check if starting camera. And here on the set camera active, what we want to do is we want to get player controller like this. Then we want to get from this and set view target with blend. And the new view target will be our camera actor. Let's connect it to here, and we don't have to change anything else here. Now what we want to do is we want to get from our get player controller, and we want to set control rotation. After here, let's leave some space here. Let's double click to add some reroutes like this. And the new rotation will be this camera rotation that we promoted to a variable before, like that. So now our player will use the camera's rotation as control rotation. And after that, what we want to do one more thing here. We want to get our camera actor. And from here, we want to cast to camera actor like this. And what we want to do here is we want to get our camera component, get camera component. From here, get camera component. Now we want to set constraint aspect ratio. Okay. And we want to set it to false. Otherwise, we will have these black bars on the sides of our viewport. Okay, so we will set our view target to our new camera actor. We will set our control rotation to the same rotation. And also we will set our aspect ratio to false, or the in-constraint aspect ratio. Compile, save. Now let's go to the event graph and let's actually call this check if starting camera. And after that, we will have to do one more thing here. Let's select our trigger box. Let's add an event on component begin overlap. Let's put it here. Now let's get from the other actor and let's check if it's equal, and let's leave some space here. Let's get from this and get player character. So if we are overlapping our player character, then let's add a branch, and left click. Let's connect here. And this is not aligned for some reason. Oh, okay, that's good enough for now. And after that, we want to just set our camera active from the true. Simple as that. Now compile, let's save all, and let's go to our third person map. Now, when we play, let's play on new editor window. We don't have any cameras here yet, so we will have to add those. So let's get our camera trigger. And now I will show you this. Check this camera. If we scale this, the camera will stay the same size. If we don't have this code here on the construction script, check what will happen. The camera will stretch. So this will fix that. Okay, so let's set our first camera to be like, maybe like this. Yes. Now let's select the starting camera from here, like this. Okay. Now let's Control C, Control V to duplicate it. And let's leave like this one box, like this much of space in between, so it will work perfectly. It has to, the space has to be bigger than the collision box of the player, so you can leave even more to be sure. Now let's uncheck the starting camera from here, and I think we actually want to rotate this like this. I'll scale it a little bit like that, actually a little bit smaller. Now let's copy and paste again to here, and let's actually rotate it again, scale it, scale it, scale it like that. Actually a little bit more. Yeah, now we have all these trigger boxes here with these cameras that you can see here. And if you want to adjust the camera on any of these boxes, you can click on this actor, and under here you can select the camera and you can move it freely to wherever you want. Okay, and also when you select the trigger box, you will automatically see what the camera sees, like this. So it's pretty nice. You can, for example, rotate and you can see it. Now, when we save and we play, you can see we have this starting camera here. When we go to here, you can see we will get this camera. When we go to here, we will see through the other camera also. So yeah, simple as that. I think that was all for this video. If you liked what you saw, please click the like button and subscribe for more. And yeah, hope you have a great day and see you on the next one. Bye.